All right, I'm live. This works. This works. Okay, so here's the drill. I'm on vacation here. Let's see. I get my. I think I got the lighting good. And maybe too much natural light. Let me see here. I am. Okay, we'll pull that back here a little bit. So anyway, man, yes, I'm in beautiful Council Bluffs. I went on vacation. What the drill is that I took off and I was in beautiful Black Hawk, Colorado, and now I'm in Council Bluffs. I will be home tomorrow, but since I'm on vacation one last night, I thought I'd just do the show live from my hotel room. Normally, I have some more content planned out, but I'm just going to kind of wing this. It's going to be a relatively short live stream tonight. Just a few minor announcements. I will be going live Wednesday. I'm going to have a Wednesday night show. Wednesday, throughout the whole NFL season, I'm going to be live. I'm also going to change the name of the show. It's not going to be the Dan Show too much longer. It's going to be something a little different. It could be renamed as soon as next week. I'm also going to set up two side channels, one for just NFL history and another one I'm going to focus more on gambling. What I've been doing is trying to combine everything into one main channel. This channel is going to be mainly focused on the draft and things that go on during the season. James, what's up, brother? I'm going to see if this works here. Okay. All right. I've never tried using StreamYard with my phone. So hopefully this will work out pretty well. Actually, I'm kind of curious how this works here. All right. This is kind of cool. Actually, I should have done a little more work. Little more work on this here. And normally the comments, I got to scroll through here, but Keys, welcome, brother. Did you get money from Gooch to gamble for me? No, I did not, sir. No, I did not. So basically what I thought I'd do, and this is kind of a fun exercise. What I'm going to do is, James, I've been really wanting to do more with NFL history. I've really been wanting to do more with NFL history, talk about it. So I'm going to create a separate channel, and I'm going to try to come out with weekly content just to talk about NFL history. It's going to be a separate YouTube channel. When I change the name, I'm going to have like sub channels for both of them. I'm going to do one channel where I just have my picks. Speaking of picks, I don't know if Denver Gators going to join the show tonight or not. When I was in Denver, I tried to meet up with Denver Gator. He said that he would meet up, but he had a basketball-sized mound of cocaine and 3 strippers coming over. So, and he told me that he's for sure one of them this time does not have a penis. So, Denver Gator had a lot of fun. Didn't want to hang out with me while I was in Colorado, but hopefully next time I come back. To Colorado, I can hook up with Denver Gator. We can have some fun. Me and Denver Gator talked about doing a pick segment. He wants to predict some of his picks. They do have sports betting there in Denver. So he wants to do some of his picks, and he kind of wants to advertise that. And we didn't have a chance to talk because he was partying. So, I get that. Yeah, but James, definitely, I am going to have I'm going to have a video next week just for NFL history, and I'm also going to have a video regarding all my picks here. So bear with me. So it's kind of hard to do all the comments on the phone, so I may skip some comments. Bear with me. Texans go. You know what, Alex, man, I'm glad you joined. My number one bet for yearly win totals is the Houston Texans. You can still get over 4.5. Where I'm staying at uses Barstool. Caesars is literally a half a mile this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm researching both, see which numbers. Basically, I haven't narrowed down to a few bets, but the Houston Texans over 4.5 is my number one play. I like Kansas City over 10.5. I like Cincinnati under 9.5. Now, both Barstool and Caesars offer teasers where you can go one game up, one game less. And I also have in front of me several week one games. So I thought for fun, I would just break down the NFL season, the whole 2022 NFL season. I'm just going to do some predictions, but I do have some information on week one, but I was going to save that later on. But if you guys want to hear some week one picks, I do have it ready. They have these sheets here. This is the odds are from August 30th. Some of these have already changed, but there's several of them that I want to go over. But I do have my 2022 picks. I thought it'd be kind of fun. Basically, what I did is reverse engineered the Super Bowls back. I should connect with Gooch on football history. It does a series. That's actually a great idea. I already have the first video idea coming out, but definitely I am going to do some NFL history. It's something when I created this channel, all I did was I said, what's the one thing I would do if like I won $1 billion or if money wasn't an issue? And I said, I would just have a YouTube channel just talking football. And I just decided to do that. But I've really struggled with the content. Should it be just a gambling channel? Should I just talk football? And I wouldn't do it all. So I'm just going to create different channels. But yeah, I will get together with Gooch and we can talk some NFL history. I already have the first idea. I want to do weekly videos on NFL history and then a weekly video on with my weekly picks, and then also my yearly picks. I'm comparing between Barstool and Caesars. I'm probably going to go exclusively with Barstool because Barstool's what's available in Kansas. Caesars doesn't have it right now. So DG is riding hard now. Russ got paid. You know what? I have a list of topics that I wrote down just right before the show. I do want to talk about that because it's not as good as Denver fans think. Hey, Jimmy, what's up, brother? No, I am in Council Bluffs. I was in Black Hawk, Colorado. I had a great time in Colorado. Honestly, I might next time I do the trip to Black Hawk, I might go Black Hawk, Vegas, and then come back home. But what I did is I spent 4 days in Black Hawk. I love Colorado, by the way. I seriously, no bullshit, I might move to Colorado. I absolutely love it out there. I'm very tempted to move out there. So, Alex, I am probably going to put serious money on that. Also, the first topic I'm going to bring up is, and then I got this from the ESPN app just about an hour ago. Harold Landry for the Titans is out for the season. This is a massive injury. This is one of my all-time favorite players. I absolutely had a major man crush on Harold Landry. Absolutely love this guy. And him being out for the year really affects the Titans big time. I think this has a major effect on the Titans defense. You have on the other side Bud Dupree, who I think played 4 games last year. This guy couldn't stay healthy, and then they're really relying on Harold Landry. Now they have Jeffrey Simmons on the inside, who is just an absolute monster. He's really, really, really a solid player. But this defense is really needing to rely on its front seven because they got all young players in the secondary, except for Kevin Byard, who's one of the best free safeties in football. But both their corners are going to rely on Caleb Farley, who's basically going to be almost a rookie. He missed almost all of last year. And they also have the guy, I'm drawing a complete blank on his name, the guy from LSU, second-year player, second-round draft pick. Really like the guy coming out of college, drawing a complete blank on his name. Complete blank on his name, but I loved him coming out of LSU. He lasted late in the second round, and he was definitely a first-round pick. I couldn't understand why he dropped. 5-star player, really love him, and I'm drawing a blank on his name. I would strongly suggest that the Houston Texans over 4.5. Now, because you're in Texas, I actually don't think sports betting's allowed in Texas. I'm not 100% sure about that. You can message me. Hold on here. I've never done this on my phone before. Hit me up if you want to. You can just send me a message on Twitter as well about different things, different places, because there is some really, really, really good stuff on. Excuse me. I've got lots of offers in the mail for different online sites, so. Texans are going to win week 1. And let me see, who are they playing? You know what? It's actually funny. I'm paying attention to that game big time. Actually, you can't see this, but I mean, I can circle it in for you. I actually have that circled because the Houston Texans. This is gambling 101. Um, you like if you can get points for a home dog, you want to take advantage of it. Right now, Houston's an 8-point home dog. I really like that game. I'm on the fence if I'm going to put action down week 1 on it, and then I got to like okay, so my phone's pressed up against something on a table, so it's not. I really next time I travel, if I'm going to do a show, there's a few things. So also, new QB still needs you learn. So I'm really not too concerned about the new quarterback. What I really like is that I think the defense for the Shaquille Leonard, I'm going to call him Shaquille. I don't know if he's going to play or not, and I think that's a big deal. He's kind of the big face of that defense, but the offense is a little unpredictable. You have something different with Nico Johnson, Damian Pierce. Your offensive line is going to be solid, and you're going to have a run heavy team against a team that has a lighter defensive line in the Colts. So I do like 8. I don't like them to win outright, to be perfectly honest, but I think they can keep it within 8. Houston also got OJ Howard and Tyler Johnson from Tampa. I'll be honest with you. OJ Howard, I have no idea why Buffalo cut him, and that's really surprising because they lost. Oh God, what's his name? The slot receiver and Emmanuel Sanders. And what they did is after the AFC divisional game, they had another name freeze. I'm drawing a blank on. Had 8 catches, 201 yards, and 4 touchdowns at Arrowhead. So they promoted him. He went to UCF. I'm drawing a complete blank on his name, but anyway, he went from being the number 4 receiver to the number 2 receiver. So I assumed when they got OJ Howard, they're going to run a lot more 11 personnel, be more of a run heavy team. And I thought OJ Howard was going to have a lot to do with that. So why Buffalo got rid of him makes no sense to me whatsoever. But it's a good pickup for Houston. I just retweeted that he's wearing number 8, which I also really, really like. I think it's kind of cool. But man, sounds like a fun trip. Sounds like you got a lot of action on futures. Futures this year based on your. I'm sorry, man. My phone's it's I should have worked glasses, but sounds like you have a lot of action on futures this year. Yes, I do, and I'm gonna have a video coming out with all my year bets. Right now, my number 1 play is over 4.5 for Houston. I like over 10.5 for Kansas City. I like over 8.5 for New England. And I like under 9.5 for Cincinnati. There's a few others I'm looking at. I might have to condense my picks a little bit, but over 4.5 for Houston's like my number 1 thing. Denver Gator, man, come on, move to Colorado. I actually do. I loved Colorado. It was I always feel bad leaving. And by the way, I'm not going to show you the room. It's not Motley Crue trashed, but it is kind of messy. They hooked me up with a jacuzzi suite. It's massive. It's pretty massive. I didn't even know that I got a jacuzzi suite. The guy down the stairs said he just upgraded me. It's a comped room, so it's 3 free nights here. By the way, I'm not saying I'd swing that way, but I'm not against flirting with a guy for an upgraded room. I'm just going to say that. I have no problem flirting. I actually flirted with the cashier, and then she's like, hey, we like tips. And I was like, yeah, well, I got my ass kicked, but even if I didn't, I still wouldn't tip a cashier. For those of you who don't do gambling, you can when you cash out your chips, you go up to the cashier's cage, they give you cash, and the lady hit me up for a tip, and I was like, yeah. I did not do well betting blackjack out there, but it was kind of messed up. So Dan likes Colorado because of edible cocaine. Denver Gator blew me off, man. I wanted to hang out with Denver Gator, and he had hookers and coke set up. So Alex, how about that floor? Oh God, you know what? I forgot to ask that because the Florida Gators are a home dog against Utah. How messed up is that? I almost put action on it because you got first time head coach. Also, I want to watch. Oh, his name is not AR-15 anymore, but God, I've been seeing some mock drafts. I'm already doing mock drafts, by the way, where Anthony Johnson is is a top 10 pick. I don't think he's an NFL quarterback, to be perfectly honest with you, but I'm kind of curious. That's a game I really, really want to watch, man. I'm in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Slasher, welcome, brother. You know what? There's a few things I wanted to talk about, and a lot of that has to do with your Eagles. I really want to talk some Eagles today. But yeah, I'm in Council Bluffs, Iowa. I absolutely love this place. Now, let's say you're married or you got a girlfriend and you're wanting to go on vacation. This is not the place. If you're wanting something just you kind of need to get away, this is the perfect place. This is the perfect place. Council Bluffs, like I kept every year, every time I go, at Black Hawk, every time I go to Black Hawk, I always say I'm gonna do something. I never do. I just kind of walked around the area. I had a great time though. Setting up studio and listening, but refer to Gabe. Yes, that was the name I forgot. Gabriel Davis. Gabriel Davis. Yeah, and that's the other thing. I can't remember the slot receiver, but they're replacing Emmanuel Sanders, and the slot receiver was second on the team in receptions. He was the guy that was big on social media because he was anti getting the vaccine. Cole Beasley, finally remembered that name. So they got rid of Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders, and they promoted Gabriel Davis from number 4 wide receiver to number 2 wide receiver. And then when they brought in OJ Howard, I'm like, great, they're going to run a lot of 11 personnel. So why did they get rid of him? Because they didn't replace any of their wide receivers. They drafted some kids late, but they really don't have an option besides those two. Dawson Knox is a solid tight end, but this was a pass heavy team. I'm going to go in a little bit of that here when I bring up my picks here. Gator, I'm in love with Pierce. He was still in the 4th round. His ability to gain yards after getting hit is amazing. Okay, Alex, this is extreme. I'm bending over. It's kind of hurting my back a little bit, but I'll try toughing it out. It's a very lazy comparison, by the way, Alex. What I'm going to say is extremely lazy, but it's sort of kind of accurate because they're both undervalued guys in the SEC that were undervalued in large part because they have great long speed. But he reminds me a little bit of Arian Foster. Arian Foster, after having a really good career at Tennessee, I liked him coming out of Tennessee. I really thought he would get drafted kind of in the mid rounds, went undrafted. Great career for the Houston Texans. I think you're getting somebody very similar in Pierce. Doesn't have great deep speed, but he's a guy that's going to run between the tackles and it's going to be very effective. And that's also a big reason why I like the Houston Texans to win more than 4.5 games. They have a really good offensive line. Kenyan Green was one of my favorite players in the draft. I gave the Texans a bad grade on the draft. And the main reason I did that is because you want the kid out of Baylor, another name freeze I'm forgetting, instead of going with Kyle Hamilton. And I was thinking, if you're playing in a Tampa 2 defense, Kyle Hamilton's the perfect safety. You're replacing Justin Reed. So you picked up the kid from Baylor and drawing a complete blank. I watched him in preseason. I love this kid. Seriously, it wouldn't surprise me if he outplays Stingley. And I still think you should have took Sauce Gardner over Stingley. I still think that's a mistake. And I think 10 years from now, you're going to agree with me. But that safety you got out of Baylor, I loved him in preseason. He really stood out. You can see his speed. You can see his playmaking. All these reasons are reasons why I love the Houston Texans over 4.5. This is going to be a good pick. You can get yourself a mobile live streaming kit. Yeah, there's a lot of things. Okay. I was not planning on doing a show, and then me and you talked, and you said, "Hey, you can do it on your phone." There's a lot of things because I have portable lights. It's seriously, I actually could have brought a few things, and it wouldn't have been that hard. So, there's a lot of things I could have done. So, Dan can't show her because in the past. Oh my god. Oh my God. Okay. So I apologize. This is a little hard to do. James called some chicks. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to really do much. They have these electric bikes. They have these electric bikes. I went out on some trails earlier today. I'm probably I might do some gambling later tonight. I'm not really sure. You never know what I'm going to do, man. I am going to take advantage of this jacuzzi though. It's pretty sweet. Denver isn't stupid. You stored them out of the house. Did you watch out Pitts and Penn State? Okay. I watched a little bit of West Virginia, Pittsburgh. I'm a big fan of Backyard Brawl. They haven't played it in a while. And so what happened is I flipped through games, right? So I was watching that game. I was flipping through something else, and I had no idea what happened because Pittsburgh took the lead. It was 28-21. Pittsburgh took the lead. They have a wide receiver transfer from Akron who really stood out. I'm kind of want to watch this kid. And then so it scores 28-28. Next thing I know, Pittsburgh has a touchdown and scores 38-25. I watched the drive, and I thought it was a catch. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, it's 4th and 16. And the West Virginia quarterback, guy was in Georgia. He was at USC. This is like his 4th team. This is a guy who I thought might go number 1 in the draft. Anyway, he threw a pretty good ball. I thought it was going to be first down. It was 4th and 16 with like 45 seconds left. Throws a great pass. It looked like a catch on the 1-yard line. Instant replay overturned it. It was not a catch. Really good game. Penn State, Purdue, I didn't catch it. I wish I would have. I'm not buying Penn State being a serious national championship team. I think Purdue might be a solid team. And by the way, that Big Ten East with Ohio State, Michigan State, Penn State may be the best half conference in the country, and that includes the SEC East with Alabama. So Florida money line is the best value. Anthony Richardson. Yeah. I might need to do that. So I hate Council Bluffs. It's its sister butthole. Omaha was once in a hotel as a college basketball manager, and some drunk guys from Russian ballet followed some girls into the room, and we kicked them out, and they broke down. Holy shit. Wow. Yeah, actually, I love coming here, to be honest. I actually love coming to Council Bluffs. I was going to stay at Harrah's, and Harrah's has a, what do you call it? Anyway, they have concerts there, so we're setting up for a concert. I couldn't even get a room there, but I got 3 free nights comped here at Ameristar. So Eagles more like Gardeners, haha. You know what? Let me talk about this, because some big news for the Eagles. Andre Dillard fractured his arm in practice, not a season-ending injury, but it's a big one because former first-round pick, I thought could be on the move. I really thought it was going to be trade bait. They traded for Jalen Reagor, which I thought was they traded Jalen Reagor to the Vikings. I thought it was a great move for the Vikings, to tell you the truth. But I like it for the Eagles because he's not really part of your offense. Get some draft picks. Then you did something really, really good that one very overlooked. But 3rd-round pick last year, Trey Sermon, was cut by the 49ers. He was their starting running back. Then they went with their 6th-round pick. I'm drawing a blank on his name. They drafted the kid Tyron Price Lewis or something like that, LSU. So it was going to be kind of interesting how the 49ers are going to do that. They just got rid of the 3rd-round pick. This kid can play. His problem is they can't stay healthy, but he's a good player. And then you traded for Chancey Gardner-Johnson, and I got the details. I wrote it down. You're giving up a 2023 5th. You have 2 picks in 2024. The Saints will get the last one, and you're getting rid of a 2025 7th. Now the Saints actually need picks, so it works out for them. I apologize. It's kind of, let me see here. I'm going to move this bottle to this side, which is where the camera is. Okay. All right. And if we get another Arian Foster, it'd be a static Foster. Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it's a lazy comparison, but I mean, both running backs, it's about same size, same speed. Both SEC running backs are underestimated because they didn't run a good 40 time. That was it. Watch them both play. There are some similarities. So Eagles have no one ranked defense by week 5. I'm calling it. That's fantastic pick. Fantastic pick. And I love what the Eagles are doing too. I really love what the Eagles are doing. I'm not sold on Jalen Hurts. I'm not sold on Hurts, but I like what they're doing. The other topic that I kind of wanted to go over was I really want to hear what you guys think. Russell Wilson signed a 5-year, $245 million contract, $165 guaranteed. I think that was part of the provision for him going to Denver. I think that this might really bite Denver in the ass. Remember, he missed part of last year's first time in his pro career. He got injured, but he took a lot of hits. He's 34. Man, hopefully it works out. But am I taking the Chiefs to win division? I took Chiefs to win the division right now. It's plus 170 here. I don't know what Caesars has, but yes, I am going to put a little bit of action on Chiefs to win the division because last year I put action on like negative 300. So, Denver Gator taking one out. I like it. I like it. All right. This is kind of hard to do on my phone, but I understand you wanted Hamilton, but Petry's the guy I was trying to think of. He has really impressed me in preseason. And the reason why I gave the Texans a C- is because I had Petry's a second round grade. I thought Cine was drafted before him, if I remember right. I thought Cena would be a better pick. But if you wanted a safety, I really thought you should have got Hamilton. I thought in the Tampa 2 defense, he would have been perfect. But, I mean, it's not really working out for him in Baltimore. I don't even think he's starting. And for Baltimore, this is a big loss because they traded their strong safety. Got rid of their strong safety. He's in Detroit. And they were just going to replace him with a rookie. They thought it'd be an upgrade. He's not even going to start. I really thought in the Tampa 2 defense, this would be a great move. It hasn't worked out, but Petry is a playmaker. Petry's a playmaker, really, really impressive. And Greenyard can be dominant at defensive end if he can stay healthy. I think he's solid. I don't think he's dominant. What they're doing is that they're going to rotate a lot of bodies in there. They got Mario Addison and Jerry Hughes from Buffalo. That's another thing, is that they got a lot of bodies on that defensive line. They got rid of Ross Blacklock, a player I loved, and I'm just assuming he doesn't really fit in. When they brought him in, they brought him in to be a 5 tech and a 3-4. Maybe he doesn't have the speed and athleticism necessary, but bottom line though, the Houston Texans over 4.5 is easily my number one play. So Baylor's becoming known for super fast DB. Yeah, that Petry kid can play. I mean, I watch him in preseason. I just watched a couple plays. I'm like, yeah, this kid, really, really good player. Really, really good player. Dan's gambling tonight. Netflix and chill with hookers. Jesus. Funk, what's up, brother, man? What's up, my brother, man? Let me see here. Okay. This is kind of hard to do the comments on my phone. The Eagles are going to have a bottom 3 defense. So week one trash talk here. No, JMO, I am not worried. That's a fun game. That's going to be a fun game. Eagles and Lions week 1. Well, I didn't realize what Wilson was turning 34 this year as a Chiefs fan. I love that. Yeah. I don't think that's a good move. I mean, you have somebody who's taken a lot of punishment. He missed some games for the first time last year, and you're giving him a lot of money, and you didn't fix the right tackle position. And every other team in the AFC West has at least 2 pass rushers. I mean, this could be a real long year. You're really rolling the dice, and I love teams that roll the dice, but I'm not really sold on this. I'm not really sold on it, so. Nothing wrong with the Wilson contract. Very team friendly or no ways out. Okay. This is a team friendly contract. Good, because 5-year, 245, 165 guaranteed. A buddy of mine was making fun of the Browns because he's a Browns fan. Kind of weird he's making fun of them, but he was making fun of the contract. And you have to realize that all the contracts that are being signed now in 2 years will be outdated. Justin Herbert is going to break the bank. Trevor Lawrence, if he leads Jacksonville to the playoffs, he will probably make. I'm not exaggerating. He may sign a 6-year, $500 million deal in Jacksonville. I'm not exaggerating. That could be a real number. I mean, he may make close. Justin Herbert's probably going to make $75 million a year. I'm serious. He takes Chargers to the playoffs, $75 million. All these contracts are just going to get crazier and crazier. Let me throw something else out there. Let's say Rodgers gets mad and wants to trade and wants a new contract. Are you going to tell me the Atlanta Falcons wouldn't do a 3-year, $200 million deal? I'm just making some stuff up right now. So, Cine pronounced Scene 132. Yeah, Scene. I'm sorry, I'm bad, but yeah. I thought I had him up better. I had him better than Petrie. I thought it was pretty significant. But Petrie, I watched him play, phenomenal. Did not realize he was that good of a player. He's going to have a big impact with the Houston Texans. What's up, Detroit Pete's watching State Whoop Western right now. By the way, Tom Grossi's making an appearance on the West. Really? Okay. I should mention this right away. That's the reason why I didn't sign up for HBO is because I'm not going to be home. I'm coming home tomorrow. And so what the drill is that if Hard Knocks is not on Plex, I'm going to sign up for a month of HBO and I'm going to binge watch all of Hard Knocks. So cool sleep on a healthy Chark. Sleep on a healthy Chark, a healthy Hawk, a healthy Swift, and a Monra who's going to be a legit bud was unstoppable at Indy practice. One thing I really was worried about, and let me know about this, is that I watched the game against Atlanta and they were running Swift between the tackles almost every play. What the fuck is that? Is that just preseason? Like you just want to see if it works? Because that to me is a big mistake. That if you use him that way, he's not going to finish the season. But it'll be interesting to see. Joey Burrow, Burrow's going to make. Seriously, Burrow probably won't make as much money as Herbert because he was injured year one and he may not have the same type of success. But it'll be interesting to see what they do. But yeah, I mean. The contracts that are coming out now, just wait a few years from now, and you're going to see Justin Herbert's going to make a lot of money. Trevor Lawrence, if he ends up taking the Jaguars to the playoffs, guess what the money he's going to ask for. Now Zach Wilson's banged up. If he takes the Jets to the playoffs, yeah. Carr is 3 years younger. They can get out Wilson's contract the year he turns 38. I'd throw that up if my team. I'd throw up if my team. The whole thing is with Denver is that if Russell Wilson was on the Broncos team from last year, that team's going to the playoffs, but you don't have that defense. And I do think it was a smart move that they were able to get, oh God, what's his name? Guy out of Wisconsin, number 28. I'm drawing a complete blank on his name. One of my favorite players coming out of Wisconsin. Ran for over 2,000 yards. I thought should have won Heisman, but they lost 59-0 against. God, what the fuck's his name? Was with the Chargers for a while. Anyway, I'm actually highest on the Eagles this year, not Snoop Dogg or Dan. I'm definitely sleeping. Detroit has to show me something that's been too long. But hi, Dan. Do you really think the line? No. However, you got a guy's first-time offensive coordinator, and I was really curious with their first preseason just using Swift between the tackles. Is that something that's going to be a steady thing? Because if I'm Detroit, I don't want Swift in between the tackles at all. And it seemed like every play that they're using Swift between the tackles. That's something I really want to watch week one, because if that's how you're using him and you don't have a creative enough offensive coordinator, which is a question because it's first time as an offensive coordinator, you're going to have a lot of problems. It's going to be a long year. So that's it. And, okay. In Kansas City, you will never see motioning or shifting in the preseason, and that's all they ever do. But they don't do it in preseason. You're using a basic game plan. But a lot of times, first-time offensive coordinators, because they're bringing in a new system, want to implement a little more of it week one. That's why that really made me kind of worried. I got no interest in the state game. I am really looking forward to Florida and Utah. I say this every year when I try to watch more college, but I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. Listen, Doug Peterson, a legit coach. He would get that team right, the right personnel. Yeah, he will. It's not going to be this year. It's not going to be this year. Now that said, they made the trade, so they had to pay him, and every quarterback deal will look good compared to the Browns and Watson. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Detroit offense should be solid. Still a lot of questions on defense, even with Hutch. I like the over for the Eagles game go. Actually, to be honest, Jimmy, I like the under on that one. You got two defenses, I think, that are going to be improved because the Eagles are switching from a 4-3 to a hybrid 3-4. It could present some questions. That's kind of a tough one, to be perfectly honest with you. But I actually, let me see here. Did I mark that down on my list? No, actually I didn't. But off the top of my head, it's 48.5 is what I got. And I kind of think that's going to be a low scoring game. Now last year they had a shootout with San Francisco, so who knows? That's one of the games I am really going to avoid, but I really want to watch. I really want to watch both those teams because I have my picks for the whole season, and but I will let you know this. I'm going to go over all of them in detail before I get off of here. But I do like Philly to win the East. Preseason is conjecture season. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to say because different teams will handle preseason differently. I have no idea how the Lions are handling it. So need to see Hard Knocks. Deuce been highlighted a lot and talks about in Swift too. Oh, dude, I actually I love Deuce Saley. He was one of my favorite players. I loved Deuce Saley. So I like Detroit's defense 100 more than their offense. So yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's the thing. I think Detroit's a team that's really going to rely on their defense and then just try to score 24 points a game. This offense to me is something I would be very, very, very worried about. But I do like their defense. I think Hutchinson's going to be a very impressive young man. Good, great. Okay, so I'm going to go over. Let me see here. How old was Alex Smith when the Chiefs signed the huge contract? By the way, players hated Fangio and gave up after week 7. Don't overlook the defense and improvement all around. Just saying. Okay, Alex Smith, when he came to Kansas City, I want to say it was in year 8. I could be wrong about that. I really could be wrong about that. I want to say it was year 8. I don't know if he was in 30. He was over 30 or not off the top of my head. You say that, but the defense was number 3 in scoring, and they played hard. The defense was very, very good. I don't see the defense getting better. I see the offense making a massive amount of changes. But I think Russell Wilson's always been better suited when they have a strong running game. If they want to rely on the passing game and you got a massive hole at right tackle, and you're in a division that doesn't have good defenses, but they got good pass rushers, that could be a big red flag. I mean, you got a guy who's 34, came off the season for the first time in his career, didn't finish the whole season. You got a massive hole on your offensive line. And your defense is going to take a step back. I mean, you could say players gave up. I didn't see that. I'm not questioning you. I mean, you're there. You know better than I do. But when I look at the Denver Broncos, I'm looking at a team that's going to take a step back defensively, and offensively, you're going to do something different. And you got brand new head coach. So, Funk, if you think your offense is your strong suit, you're terribly mistaken. I guess I saw PTSD from the ass whooping the Eagles gave the Lions last year. I don't agree about the Detroit D. Hutch is great, but he still won dudelets and trash linebackers in secondary. I think Hutchinson is going to have an effect because I think he's really going to change that front 7. Because the one thing about Detroit is I watched their front 7 last year, and I'm like, this is a slow unit, and now all of a sudden it looks like a faster, much athletic unit. And you also have the young pieces all on that board. McNeil, he was a 3rd-round pick last year. I'm hoping he makes big strides. Ozarike was a 2nd-round pick, should have been a 1st-round pick, but he sat out the whole season. He was banged up. Hopefully he makes great strides. I think the front 7 is now even with Rodriguez, if he ends up being the starter, I would be kind of questionable, but he does have some speed and athleticism, and you got some youth in that secondary. I don't know how good they're going to be. Deshaun Elliott's a guy that on a team that's going to a playoff caliber team would be a good fit. I don't know how he's going to fit with Detroit, but if he adds something, this could be a really, really good defense. So, Alex Smith is currently 38. I haven't played for the Chiefs in 5 seasons, so he was done with it. Yeah. I thought Alex Smith was like 29 or something when he signed that contract. Stud cornerback, sky high potential. Jeff Okuda, great safeties, great offensive line, just linebacker. Yeah, the linebackers are question marks, and I'm going to watch Hard Knocks when I get home. and if I have to pay for the month, I'll pay for the month. Um, so he was, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. He did sign a big time contract with Kansas City, and then I think he signed 2 pretty big contracts. The Chiefs gave Alex Smith probably a lot more than he was worth, but he meant a lot to the organization. Somebody tried to argue this with me that when Patrick Mahomes praised Alex Smith for helping him become the quarterback that he was, a lot of people tried to say, "Oh, you had to say it." He didn't have to say that. Alex Smith helped Patrick Mahomes quite a bit. So I hope you're right, Dan. I'll be pleasantly surprised. Well, hey, we're gonna find out. So I'm gonna give you my picks for the year, and this is just kind of a fun thing. I don't take this to the bank, but this is just something I thought I'd do, just for fun, just for fun. Detroit fans are NFC East. I like Philly to win the division. I got them as the 4 seed. I got Dallas as the 6 seed, and then Washington and the Giants. AFC North, Green Bay winning. Green Bay's my number 1 seed. The reason why I got them as a 1 seed is that I think that their division's the weakest division in the NFC. I really don't think that there should be much of a challenge. Green Bay may be resting starters, and also they get a few extra days before they play the Rams late in the season. I think the Rams come to Green Bay. I have to go back and watch that video, but they do have a bye before the Rams game. Traditionally, LaFleur's not been good against the bye. Last year they won on the bye, but they beat the Bears. So, but I like Green Bay to win that division, followed by Minnesota, Detroit, and Chicago. NFC South, Tampa Bay's my number 2 seed. The Saints, I think, are going to make the playoffs. The Saints are another team. I kind of forgot to mention that. I like the Saints. I think it's over an 8.5. That's one thing I have to double check. Followed by I had a hard time who's going to finish last. I'm going to go Atlanta, then Carolina. I think Matt Rule's time in Carolina is going to come to an end probably mid-season or whenever they have their bye. I think it's a late season bye. I think he's fired then. So, Bud, the defense was bottom of the barrel last year. They added Hutch and Rodriguez. D-line is already hurting Pascal and Levi O. What did they do enough for a Philly fan to think it's better? No, it's interesting. But I don't think your offense is going to be exploded. Like I said, 48.5. I kind of like the under, but week one, you have to realize one thing about week 1. NFL teams really don't practice a lot in pads, so there are higher scoring games week 1 than in the past. Off the top of my head, I like the under, but that's one game I'm completely avoiding. NFC West, I got the Rams as the 3 seed. Arizona makes the playoff. Wild card is the 7 seed, followed by San Francisco and Seattle. Out of my playoff games, my one upset would be it's 5 versus 4, which would be the Saints over the Eagles. So in the playoffs, the Saints get it done against the Eagles. Tampa Bay as a 2 seed would play Dallas a 6 seed, which I think would be a really, really. Did I get that right? No, Tampa Bay would play Arizona. I'm sorry, 2 versus a 7. So Tampa Bay would win. And then I got the Rams over Dallas, which would be a really, really fun playoff game. And then out of the playoff games, I got Green Bay over the Saints and Tampa Bay over the Rams. And then in the NFC Championship, I have Green Bay over Tampa Bay in a kind of a surprise. I think that even though Tampa Bay comes up to Green Bay, remember 2 years ago that happened and Green Bay lost. I think Green Bay gets it done this year. And Tom Brady does not go back to the Super Bowl. I think he loses in the NFC Championship game. And so I have Green Bay making the Super Bowl. So Chiefs gave Alex Smith $68 million over 4 years. Then Washington traded him, gave him 94 over 4. Speaking of Tampa Bay, did Giselle just this year discover Tom hates? Oh God, that's kind of cold, man. It's kind of funny. But yeah, there's been some talk that like Giselle left, and that was kind of why Tom took 12 days off. And I'm not going to speculate. All right. So Green Bay in the NFC. In the AFC, I'm going to start off with an upset. AFC East, New England wins the AFC East. Seriously though, I don't know. I don't. I'm not going to touch it. It's kind of funny, but it's kind of funny because it's not me personally or somebody I know. So I wouldn't be away from my own wife that long, let alone if I was married to a supermodel. I'm gonna go back to my prediction. All right, AFC East. I got New England in an upset. I got them as my 3rd seed, followed by Buffalo. Makes the playoffs as my 1 seed. I think it comes down late in the season, and I think New England gets it done, followed by Miami and the New York Jets. AFC North. I like Baltimore to win the division. Baltimore's my 2 seed. I got Pittsburgh finishing 2nd. They make the playoffs. They are my 6th seed, followed by Cincinnati and Cleveland. Yes, I don't have Cincinnati making the playoffs. I think they take a big step backwards. The AFC South, I have the Colts winning the division. They are the 4th seed. That Harold Landry injury is a big deal. I'm halfway tempted to put Houston finishing 2nd instead of Tennessee. But I'm going to put Tennessee over Houston right now. And then, Jacksonville finishes dead last in that division. The AFC West, I do have Kansas City winning it. The Raiders are number 2. They make the playoffs. They are the 7th seed again. I think they're 7th seed last year. The Chargers and then Denver. I'm sorry, Denver Gator. I really think Denver's going to finish last. I really do. I really think it's going to take some time for this offense to kind of gel. I really do. And the defense, I'm a firm believer it's going to take a step back. And I'm sorry to say that, but as much. By the way, I was sorry that I wasn't able to hang out with you, but I understand about having hookers and blow over. So I get that. I understand. I ain't mad. But I am going to come back to Colorado again pretty soon. Hopefully we can hang out. If you say so, Funk, adding 2 players can change the whole defense, and Hutchinson and Elliott aren't slouches. I think you guys, by the way, I called Hutchinson going to Detroit very early. Very early. So yeah. Do I think Pittsburgh Jimmy says, you think Pickett takes over the Steelers this season? Maybe, and I say that because I actually think, barring injury, I think Trubisky plays the whole season. I think he plays well, and I think there's going to be a team that's going to look at him and say, we're going to bring him in to be a backup, or maybe a potential starter. I think Trubisky would be a fantastic backup for a team. I think that what's going to happen is there's going to be a team. This is going to be a good draft for quarterbacks. There's going to be about 4 teams that are going to draft a quarterback in the draft that's going to ask for that quarterback to take over sometime during the season. And one of those 4 teams, I think, will end up signing Trubisky and asking him to be that bridge quarterback. Barring injury, no. If he goes down for any part of time during the season, Pickett, once Pickett comes in, he's the guy. So if it's week 4 or week 12 and it's only like a 2 or 3, let's just say week 4, and it's a 2-3 week injury, it's a season-ending injury because Pickett's going to take over. Trubisky's going to be the backup. But yeah. I didn't think the Lions would take Hutch. I was more surprised they wasn't taking him out of Jags. Great call either way, though. I'll be honest. I really thought Jacksonville was going to take Evan Neal. I really thought, even after they signed Cam Robinson, because Jawan Taylor on the other side, I always thought was a better guard. And if you're going to have a system with 2 drive-backing, powerful tackles, you want to have a run-based system. Well, they're going to have a passing offense with kind of a West Coast flair. That's what Doug Peterson's going to use. He's going to use I noticed that when he was in Philly, they used more of a West Coast. They didn't really go downfield as much as Kansas City did. And I think that's kind of what I'm seeing Jacksonville doing, is have a pass-heavy offense. So I really thought they would take the tackle. I didn't think they would go on defense with Walker. and Walker, I think, will be just fine there. But I think people are going to call him a bust because I think he's going to be much better against the run because he's not. The difference between Hutchinson and Walker is Walker's a better athlete, but Hutchinson to me is much more of a natural pass rusher. Walker to me does not look like he's a natural pass rusher. And I think this is a guy who in a 3-4 defense, I would love to have Walker on my team, but he's not a guy who's going to be a double-digit sack guy. And when you're chosen number 1 overall, you kind of got to be that guy. So, Jimmy, I don't know. My Pistons got three rings, and my Wings got 4 25-plus years straight in the postseason. My Tigers have 1 and a few late runs. The Lions are only consistent. But and a sports oddity and my sports fandom, One Funk, the Red Wings are my hockey team. I don't watch hockey anymore. I do remember this. Here's how old I am. Do you remember playing that Sega hockey when they had Yzerman and Fedorov? Like it got to be a point where we were like, okay, you can be anybody but Detroit. Like that's the only thing I know is that was our rule. Like that if you play that Sega hockey game, you can't be Detroit. Like I remember Yzerman, and it's funny. There's a song by Kid Rock, and it sounds like Iverson. He's like, no, it's Yzerman. So, Wings got fans everywhere. Yeah, I just remember that Sega hockey game. We used to play the hell out of that, and the rule was you can't be Detroit. Yeah, Yzerman. It was Fedorov. There's like they had a stud goalie. Somebody else but the Detroit Red Wings Sega hockey team that was like unstoppable. You couldn't do anything. All right, so wild card, NHL 94. Yes, Detroit is definitely a hockey town. Yes. So what I did when I did my Lions video, I had a hockey puck drawn off and as one of the transition phases or transition stages or anything. So yeah. Zerman. I think okay. I think you meant Yzerman. Yeah, I got you. I don't know if growing up in Iowa were your choices in St. Louis, Chicago, or Detroit are really heavy. I'll say one thing: when I was actually in Blackhawk when they won the Stanley Cup, it was kind of cool because I was eating. And there was one of the bus tables. So I had like my own little section and it had a TV, like they put me like in the back corner for the buffet. And a couple of the guys were watching the game and they kind of looked at me. I was like, dude, come on, you want to sit down? They're like, no, we don't sit down, but we'll hide back here. Is that cool? And I'm like, fuck yeah, it's cool. You know, I mean, it was I was eating by myself. So like, it was like it was like 2 bus boys. And I think one of the servers were watching like the final minutes. I was eating at the buffet at Monarch. It was kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Detroit. By the way, Denver, fantastic sports town. Fantastic sports town. I'm gonna say this. It may piss some people off. Denver's a way better sports town than Kansas City. It's not even close. It's not even close. I mean, you have the hockey team. You have the basketball team, but no, just sports fans. Yeah. It could have also been watching Ferris. Oh yes, I forgot. Yes, he's wearing the jersey. By the way, it's a great movie. All right, playoffs. Baltimore has the 2 seed. They play the Raiders, who's the 7th seed. They win. New England, the 3 seed, will play Pittsburgh, the 6th seed. They win. My 4 versus 5, Buffalo upsets Indianapolis, which probably won't be an upset. Buffalo will probably be favored going into that game, but I think Buffalo wins that. And by the way, if you're paying attention, this does mean that you're getting a 3rd straight year of Buffalo and Kansas City in the playoffs. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Dan, you need to watch anything you can about the rivalry between. You know what? I know nothing about it. I know it's a rivalry, but I don't know anything about it. I think ESPN had a special on there. And I will watch it one of these days. I will watch it. Yeah. Houston cut, signed a practice squad, signed a starting. And yeah, I know Chris Conley. Chris Conley's 3rd round pick here in Kansas City rubbed people the wrong way because he had plans already set up for when his career was over, and it rubbed a lot of NFL teams the wrong way. It didn't rub Kansas City the wrong way. And here's a guy who's got great size, speed. It just never really panned out. So Denver, yeah. I'm going to say this here, and I'm going to trash Kansas City. Kansas City's not a great sports town. It's really not. It's really not. And that's one thing I absolutely loved about. Black Hawk, Colorado. I keep calling it Denver. It's a suburb of Denver. It's like 20 minutes away. It's a different town, but I consider it just part of Denver. It's not really fair, but I do. Sorry, Denver Gator. Black Hawk to me is just like West Denver, basically. So, oh yes, Mr. Hockey Gordie Howe himself. Yeah, I know nothing about hockey. All I know is that Sega game, we had a rule finally you couldn't be Detroit. So, I love Coors Field. Probably considered Rocky. I had no idea you've been the Coors Field. I've never been. The only baseball stadium, and I haven't been to a Royals game. Oh God! Oh, the last time I went, it was either dollar beer night or dollar hot dog, and they used to have fireworks. I took an old girlfriend of mine, and me, her, and a buddy. I got some tickets online, and I had no idea where the seats were. It turned out to be there at the very, very, very top row. And this guy, so she wore this, like, my buddy, he's a good guy, but she wore this really short mini skirt. I'm like, dude, come on, man. And she kind of got weirded out, but we ended up getting like completely trashed. So yeah, he was disappointing. Great. 6'3", 215, ran a 4.35. I actually am tempted to put the Texans as finishing second with the Harold Landry injury, but I'm going to stick with Titans. Okay. So playoffs, Kansas City beats Buffalo for the third consecutive year. And an upset in the playoffs, New England as the 3 seed goes to Baltimore. New England wins. And the fifth consecutive AFC championship game is Kansas City hosting New England, and Kansas City wins. So it'll be Kansas City versus Green Bay in the Super Bowl. So, and let's just I can't really be like unbiased with Chiefs and Packers Super Bowl. So Dan, the hockey rivalry is considered one of the best rivalries in all of sports. Seriously, Dan, there was a game that had over 3. Holy shit. There is a special about the Avs and Wings, and I will check it out. It might not be during football season. It might, but when I get home, I am going to watch Hard Knocks. I know Mahomes is 8th, and I think Kelsey is 10. But the NFL Top 100, I'm going to watch the 1 through 20. I always get a kick out of that, and then I am going to, like I said, I'm setting up 2 new YouTube channels. I'm going to rename this channel maybe by Wednesday. And then I'm going to have the video out with all my picks. Me and Denver Gator are going to have a thing because he wants to do his picks. So I did not know this. Ozzy Osbourne's going to play the halftime show for the Rams-Bills game. That's kind of interesting. That's kind of interesting. I do have some week 1 things I am watching, and I'm going to share that with you. Then I'm going to end the video. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my vacation because I have a very busy week ahead of me. I am, by the way, going to be live. Keith told me he would be able to make it. Last time, I haven't stayed in touch with Corey, but he's been pretty solid. I haven't heard anything from Alex, so that's an iffy. But I will be live Wednesday. It may be under a different name. It may not be the Dan Show. It may be something different. Coors Field is great. The Rockies are a joke. Faithful fan base. Everybody knows they continually suck. Seriously. Okay, so I've been to Colorado now 3 or 4 times, and in Black Hawk, it's an old mining town that has like a dozen casinos. I've only stayed there. So there was some problems with my rooms. I had to call maintenance, and the maintenance guy, I wrote it down, and he told me a place to go. He said it's like 45 minutes away, and like it's a great view. He told me I love it. He told me to do it, and I ended up not doing it. But one of these days, I'm going to go to Colorado, hopefully hang out in Denver Gator, and actually do some sightseeing instead of just blowing money on the blackjack tables, which is what I did this time. I lost a lot of money playing blackjack. I'm convinced Green Bay is cursed when it comes to Conference. I think they get over the curse this year. I really do. I really think this is going to be the year. The reason why I say that is I think they're going to be the 1 seed. And I think that this year they're going to rely a lot more on the running game. You can't put 7 in the box. I think the expression is 8 in the box. I'm changing it to 7 because teams play so much more nickel nowadays. You can't put 7 in the box against Rodgers, even with average or below average wide receivers. They have a really good 1-2 punch. And I really like their defense. I really like their defense. I think their defense is really going to take a step up and surprise people. So. Dan, give us your most optimistic outcome for each of the rest of the AFC West, including the records, if that is the most optimistic. You know what? That's a great idea. Okay. That's actually a great idea. Okay. With Denver, I have them finishing last, but it wouldn't surprise me if Denver wins anywhere between 7 and 10 games. I really could see the AFC West being something like 12, 11, 10, and 9, or 12, 11, 10, and 10. And the bottom line is in the AFC, I think in order to make the playoffs, you got to have 11. I really think you got to have 11 this year. And I think the Raiders are going to be that team that finishes, 10 and 7, 11 and 6. But with Denver, I'll give you Denver. If Denver Gators right and the defense continues to play the same level, top 5 scoring defense. They got a multitude of pass rushers. They got Nick Bonito. They got Randy Gregory, Bradley Chubb. I think Bradley Chubb will be gone after this year, but they also moved. I can't remember if it was their 3rd or 7th round pick, Baron Browning, A+ athlete, to move him to outside linebacker. So they have multiple pass rushers on the outside. This defense is really, really good. Some Broncos fan has sent this to Denver Gator, put in that Patrick Surtain too. His dad played in Kansas City. I love them in Kansas City. Patrick Surtain too was a better corner than Jalen Ramsey, and I'm like, come on. But let's just say he's a Pro Bowl corner. Let's just say he's a Pro Bowl corner. You have Justin Simmons, Pro Bowl safety. So Denver could realistically, if that defense comes to port, Melvin Gordon, that's the name I was thinking of. Okay. And Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams become 1,000-yard rushers. Both of them become 1,000-yard rushers. And Denver doesn't make the mistake of becoming a pass-happy team, but they're a run-heavy team with a really good defense. And then they used to play action fake. So Russell Wilson throws bombs, and Denver could easily win the AFC West. But the most optimistic outcome for each of the teams. Okay. Most optimistic for Denver, I think would be 12. And all these things got to go right, but I don't think it's going to go right. I don't think Russell Wilson's going to play 17. I think they're going to try to be a pass-happy team, which is not going to work. I think defense in this division is going to take a step back, and it's tough. So most optimistic would be 12. With the Chargers, I really think that this is a team that I may take the under on because it's going up. Last time I looked was 10. I think 10's their ceiling, to be honest. One thing that Denver did is that they got rid of some really good players on the defensive side of the ball, and they're hoping Khalil Mack regains form. Remember, he missed over half the season. He's 31. He's not really the same guy. It's funny. You commented something on Twitter about the Raiders saying they have the best wide receiver, tight end, running back combo. I would actually say the Chargers have that because the Chargers got 2 really good wide receivers. Austin Eckler, how the fuck do you score 20 touchdowns and not make the Pro Bowl? I would take Eckler over Josh Jacobs. And I don't even know who their tight end is, and it doesn't even matter. But the Chargers, the way that the Chargers would have to finish the season well is that they would have to make sure that Khalil Mack regains form, and they have to make sure that they fix some things on that defense. I think I'm letting you know right now, the Chargers are really going to disappoint people. I think this is a team that I think their ceiling's 10. I think their absolute ceiling is 10. And a lot of people I think are really going to be disappointed. I didn't mention that because I think Herbert is got everything it takes to be a superstar. 2 really good receivers. One of my favorite players in Austin Eckler as a running back. The offensive line, they have some holes themselves. So I think 10's the absolute ceiling. I got them finishing above Denver, but I might flip that. This was just something I put together for fun, not something, hold me. Do not hold me to this. Do not bet on this, because you can bet. I've been going through some of the bets here, and you can bet on which place the team finishes in the division. And I was tempted. I would never recommend betting this, but if I was, I would put Chargers either third or fourth. But I think 10's are ceiling. I really, really do. I think the Chargers are one of these teams really going to disappoint. The Raiders, I think, are the Chiefs' number one threat, and this is a team that could be really, really good, because Devontae Adams, if he's still the best receiver in football, Waller could be as Waller's a legitimate number one receiver. I know he's a tight end, just like Travis Kelce. He's a tight end, but that's all you got. The offensive line is not fantastic. Carr last year started off the season red hot. I think through the first 3 weeks, he had over 1,200 yards passing. Remember, they beat the Ravens in overtime. And he has, I've always said, I think Derek Carr is wildly underrated, but Carr could have an MVP type season. Adams could be the best receiver in football. Darren Waller, really, he's just a big receiver. He's the another number one wide receiver. You got one of the best slot receivers in football. Drawing a complete blank on his name. He signed a big contract this offseason. If the Raiders defense plays solid, they could easily win the West. They really could. They really could. So hopefully that answered your question. That was a great question, man. Great question. All right. Behind some comments here. I thought Ozzy was leaving America. I didn't know that. Ozzy's kind of a weird guy. They used to play before Chiefs games. This is this is so long ago. So they used to play Crazy Train at the start of every Chiefs game, and they had this giant arrowhead flying through Kansas City on the scoreboard, and everything was turning red. And then, like, at the very end was Crazy Train. It was this giant arrowhead bouncing around the walls of the stadium, and then they had the opposing helmet on the 50-yard line. This arrowhead would just go through and then crash through the helmet, and the crowd would just erupt. It was just so awesome. God, I probably did not. I probably should show that clip. I wonder if I can find it. But my mom worked with Kevin Ritz's mom, so I have an early Rockies connection. I remember the old days when it was fun to watch Guerrero, Bichette, Walker, etc. I think I've heard of those guys. Ozzy, some 20 years ago, he was old back then. Dan probably won't be coherent. I still check out the Crazy Train. I'm serious. Crazy Train was really awesome. Oh God. What do you think Lori Lightfoot thinking about? Oh, it's actually funny. I was talking to I was playing blackjack with one of the dealers, and he was talking about conspiracy theories in the NFL, and we talked a little bit, because they talked about putting a dome on Arrowhead for a long time, and now there's talk about moving a downtown stadium. I was not aware of this, but every cold weather team has thought about this one way or another. I personally, I would be disappointed, but it kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense. I don't know much about Chicago politics, but more than likely, if they did that, there would be a crazy tax hike. And I really would be surprised if citizens of Chicago would agree to a tax hike, especially considering that this is probably going to be a terrible team. The over-under started off at 7. It's now 6, and it's probably going to drop. I mean, I do think that you guys are going to be better in Chicago this year. It's not really a compliment, but I think the West and the North are going to produce playoff teams outside the South and East division. Are you talking about AFC or NFC? AFC, I have Buffalo, and I was tempted to put Tennessee, but with losing, I'm telling you right now, Harold Landry means a lot to that team, is because Bud Dupree cannot stay healthy, and if he could, you still need Landry. Landry means a lot to that team. That's a massive loss, and that's, I actually think it would not surprise me if Houston finishes second in that division. Lovey's changing his defensive styles. It seems last year it took him halfway through the season to hide his plays. This preseason, not only did he hide his plays, but also played mainly cover 3. You know what? That was one thing I did notice is that I thought that they were going to play more of a Tampa 2. They really didn't. They did a lot of single high stuff. I don't know if they're really that they're playing a lot of man, but they are. One thing I did notice, they played a lot of single high, and Petrie can do that. They also moved Petrie down in the box. There's a lot that they did that really impressed me. Like I said, the Houston Texans, this is easily my number one pick. Over 4.5 for the Houston Texans, easily my number one bet. I want to see if Votto can do it. That's something I'd actually be curious because right now it's Gregory and I was just talking not Nick Chubb, Bradley Chubb. It's Bradley Chubb and Randy Gregory. But Benito is perfect for that scheme. See, what's going to happen is Benito is going to replace Bradley Chubb after this year. And then they also got Baring Browning. I can't remember if he was the 3rd or the 7th round pick. He's an inside linebacker. They put him on the outside and looked really, really good in preseason. But this is why Denver could be really good because you have multiple pass rushers. And these are all really young, up-and-coming guys. You got a guy like Benito. You got a guy like Randy Gregory, if he can stay healthy. Now, keep in mind, he's going from a 4-3 to a 3-4. Is he athletic enough to be a 3-4 outside linebacker? That's something that's going to be left up to chance. Another thing is that I kind of just now off the top of my head, the Chiefs have some questions at right tackle. The Chargers have questions at right tackle. The Raiders, they released Alex Leatherwood, so they actually have some questions at right tackle. So you got teams with multiple pass rushers that can do some really damaging things. I just think that when I look at Denver, I'm seeing a pass-happy team that should be a running team. A first-time head coach going into a very tough division and really high expectations. These are all things that usually don't work out. So, but when Keith said, "Give me best case scenario," yeah, Denver could win the West. So, Denver Gator, what's your prediction for total yardage with Houston? I have him going. Are you putting money down on over 800? If you are, please let me know. I actually really like that a lot. I actually could. I could see him going for 1,000 this year. I wouldn't argue with the Raiders' top 2 wide receivers being the best 2 wide receivers in the AFC West. Waller is the second best tight end in the West, but Jacobs Raiders wouldn't even pick up the 5th-year option. Yeah, I would take, and I think I'm in a minority here, Keys, but I would take the Raiders pair over Adams and Renfro. But I think a lot higher of Keenan Allen than a lot of people. I really think that there's not too much of a difference between Adams and Keenan Allen. I love Keenan Allen, but I would easily, that was kind of surprising they didn't pick up the 5th-year option. And keep in mind, it's an expensive option. I think that's what they're doing because remember he brought in Brandon Bolin from New England. He knows the system, and I think what the Raiders are going to do is that they're just trying to skimp. But it wouldn't surprise me if mid-season they give him like a 3-year deal, just not making as much as he would make because he's a good running back. It's just Eckler's better. Eckler's easily better. So I put Jacob right after Denver's running backs and right before CEH, but I don't expect CEH to be the starter at the end of the season. I'm not sure what's going to happen with the Chiefs running backs, to be perfectly honest. It's one thing that I'm kind of hoping CEH, like the light comes on, but I wasn't a big fan of him coming out. Your boy Pacheco is impressed. Ronald Jones, last I saw, actually made the team, which I was really floored about. And then I think McKinnon's there, so the Chiefs are keeping 4 running backs, best of my knowledge. Now, keep in mind, once I get back home, I'm going to dive into the rosters and all the moves, but I haven't had a chance to do that. Hopefully you understand. Hopefully you guys get it. Undrafted rookie free agent Jake Henson made the Texans' initial roster at 3 sacks, 6. I did not know that. Guys that make the roster like this are always gold because you don't pay them a lot and they're productive. And it also allows you to spend money in other places. So, Alex, I think he breaks 800, maybe 300 receiving. 11, holy shit, 11 touchdowns. That's a big number. I was thinking over 200. Okay. Let me know if you guys want to put some action there. Yes, AFC. Okay. So, yeah, I don't have Tennessee. Okay, I have Buffalo making the playoffs. I don't have Tennessee making the playoffs because of Landry. If Landry was healthy, I would probably put them over the Raiders. And the reason why is that with a healthy Landry, I could see them going 4-2 in the division. Without Landry, I think he affects them that much. I think he really, really affects them that much. I'm a big fan. So that's why I got Tennessee out of the playoffs. Realistically, I want Houston to be at the bottom of the list when you look at the in the hunt category. They're actually more on my top. I'm actually tempted to put Houston to finish second in the division after the Harold Landry injury, but they are my number one pick because over 4.5 is over four and a half to me is almost a no-brainer. I can envision an optimistic scenario where any of the okay, I have the notifications on my phone. I can envision an optimistic scenario where any of the Chargers, Raiders, and Broncos win as many as 12 and 13 games. Yeah, I could too, except with the Chargers. Okay, so I'm getting a bunch of packages tomorrow, so I'm coming home at the right time. I'm going to stand by with the Chargers being a 10-win team, and the reason why is that they got rid of some real stalwarts on the defense, including Kazir White. I by the way, he signed a bargain basement deal with the Eagles. This is a guy who made a major big deal. So the Chargers' two starting linebackers, both of them missed a lot of time last year. If you told me that, I'm so sorry, another brain freeze. Their big time safety, the one who just signed that massive deal. If you told me he's going to play for 17 games, maybe, but he's not. But yeah. I'm going to stick with the Chargers being the team that I don't see winning 12 games. The rest, every other AFC West team except for the Chargers. And the reason why I say that is I know the Chargers are going to have some injuries. I think the Chargers got problems on the offensive line. I think their front seven's not going to work out. But if everybody's healthy on the Chargers, then yeah, they could win 12. But it's not going to happen because a lot of the players that they're counting on have missed significant time in the past. So Petrie was Petrie really, I'll be honest, I was more impressed with Petrie and Stingley. Petrie really stood out. He really impressed me. I was on the field of preseason when it comes to Stingley. So his assignment was never targeted versus the Rams shut down inside of the field. Let's see how he does when the bullets start to fly. But Petrie stood out. Stingley didn't, at least not to me. All right, sorry. This is harder to do on my phone. Benito would not get as much playing time, barring injuries, would be in the NASCAR package. Gregory Chubb, Benito, Browning, Ohio State. Okay, he was the 3rd-round pick. Okay. Baring Browning, for those of you who don't know, was a 5-star linebacker, and he was almost the same type of athlete that Micah Parsons was. But the thing is, though, at Ohio State, his highlights are as good as anybody, but he was really inconsistent in college. But this is an A-plus athlete. So when they drafted him, they thought, hey, we can coach him up and have me an inside linebacker. But they moved him to outside when Von Miller left, really stepped up. This is a guy who's got all the athleticism in the world. And it was inconsistent. He'd have a few games where he looked like he was a Micah Parsons type player. Then he'd have games where he just disappear. But he's a former 5-star player who's just an absolute stud. So Hackett does have that pedigree, so there is that. Yeah, he I don't know if it's pedigree or his dad has that. I mean, if you want to call it from his dad, but does he get into the door without his dad? That's something else to consider. But anytime you're a first-time head coach, you gotta learn things, and this is not the division. That's kind of why I got Denver finishing last. But I think next year this is a team that would be something I would worry about. So 2 things I'm putting: Texans over 4 and Pierce over 100. Is it over 800 rushing or is it 800 total? Because if it's 800 rushing, I would pause. I think that's solid. But if you can get the Texans over 4, I've seen 4.5, but both Caesars and Barstool, you can go one game over each, but you get a really, really bad number. I'm probably going to put Houston Texans at 4.5. I'm tempted to go over 5.5. It's like plus 190. It would be a small amount. With Pierce, if it's 800 total, definitely do it. If it's over 800 rushing, I would be a little hesitant, but listen, man, you follow me on social media. Do hit me up and let me know. Derwin will miss. Yeah, Derwin James. That's the guy I was thinking of. Yeah, he's not going to be. Derwin James is going to miss some time. Khalil Mack's going to miss some time. They're going to have somebody on the offensive line who's going to miss some time. But bottom line, if the Chargers stayed healthy, maybe. I mean, the whole team stays healthy. Maybe 12, but I really don't see it. Come on, Dan. The Chargers have been first to pick. They were first last year. That's how I know football season. By the way, I mean, if you live in Kansas City, you hear this every year. Chargers are going to win the AFC West, and it's been going on for the last several years. You always hear it. It never happens. I believe I already told you this, but Houston can be a scary team in 2023. The wide receiver room filled with Brandon Cook, Nico Collins, Tyler Johnson, and no, I'm 100% on board. Davis, by the way, we talked about quarterbacks that are going to sign big-time contracts. Davis Mills may be on that list, and he may be on that list next year to get one of those big-time deals. No, there's a lot to like about. I'm a huge Davis Mills fan, and Brandon Cooks. I mean, this is a really world. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, Nico Collins is 6'4", 210. His pro day ran a 4.42. Scary potential, sat out his senior year due to COVID. Really was kind of learning how to play, but he had some really good plays in preseason. There's a lot to like about the Houston. Alex, there's a lot to like about the Houston Texans. If you had to say, give me a sleeper team in the AFC, I would say the Houston Texans, because if they can get that defense, there'd be a good defense, like a top 10 defense, and the offense keeps improving, and Mechie can contribute anytime this season. Yeah. There's a lot to like about the Houston Texans. I'm very high on this team. Branding would have been a great 4-3. Yes. You probably know a little bit. You probably watched him play in college. He had some great games, and there was time like this was a 5-star athlete. Like, this is a guy who's got all the ability in the world. Just it never came on all the time, and that's also disappointing because if you look, Ohio State had more talent than everybody else, and he's a guy that should have just been dominant because I mean he had talent all around him on that front seven. He just didn't always play well. It was kind of disconcerting. But moving him in the NFL, and it'll be interesting to see what they do. Okay. I had a good tight end and a defensive end in the draft. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to talk about that quite a bit during draft time. I'm going to do this channel will be all about this year and the draft, and then I'm going to have a separate channel where I talk just NFL history, and then I'm going to do a little separate sub channel where I just do predictions. I also am going to get on TikTok starting next week. I have a list of things that I'm going to do when I get back. So like it's like I'm gonna have fun tonight, and then the way it works is that I get I have it right over there, but basically every Friday this casino gives me $40 worth of chips, and I can literally just pick up the chips, go to cashier, cash it in, and this time I just chips because I'm gonna maybe play a little tonight. Then every week they give me, I think it's $50. So Friday I get 40, and then during the week I get 50. So basically I'm gonna collect $50. And if the tables are open when I leave, then I'm gonna play. If they're full, I'm just gonna go right to the cage and walk out of here with $90. So that's basically all I'm doing tomorrow is I'm gonna pick up the cash, I'm gonna drive. It's just 3 hours. And then I got a lot of work to do. I got a lot of work to do, and I got a lot of videos to make. So, and hopefully Keys is coming with me on Wednesday. So it's 800 rushing only, huh? I mean, I think he is, but I would never. I'm curious. I'm curious what number you're getting. If you're getting like -110, I wouldn't recommend that. So here's some same dumb shit about the Chargers every year in Denver, as well as their 500 fans. To be fair, Dan tries to get high on anything he can. He's like my grandfather or my grandmother getting a lot. Jesus Christ. By the way, yes, please, guys, I haven't said this yet, but please like, subscribe, and share. You know the deal. And please do come back and leave a comment. I really, really, really do appreciate it. Yeah, after the videos end and after the video ends, drop a comment down below. It really helps the YouTube algorithm, helps me grow. It's kind of funny. So like when I was in Colorado, I ran into a couple guys from Jersey. Both of them ended up subscribing to my YouTube channel, but they brought up the Dan show. And it turns out to be that the reason why it's the D.A.N. is I thought it'd be fun, like the D.A.N. show instead of just the Dan show. But if you type in the Dan show on YouTube, it's like a guy hugging puppies or something. And that's part of the reason why I decided that I'm going to go with a different name. If you have an idea for something I should change my name to, because originally, for those of you who've been a while, it used to be called Andrew's Football. I actually like Andrew's Football better than the Dan show. People kept on calling me Andrew. Luke G kept on calling me Andrew. I was on his show twice. He was on my show twice. And he kept on calling me Andrew. And I was like, all right. And he wasn't alone, but Luke G was really bad at it. And I've known Luke G for several years. Love Luke G. But he kept on calling me Andrew. And it's like, come on, man. So I changed it to the Dan show. But I'm going to rebrand. Maybe by Wednesday. I'd pay to watch you. I love, okay, let me tell you something. Dogs, and if you're a baby's under 3, love me. Like I'll go to a grocery store, and like if you're under 2, you like reach out, say hi to me. I don't know what is. Every now and then a parent will give me a stink eye, but usually I just tell them like babies love me. I don't know. It's like I'm a baby rock star or something. You know, I don't get it. So it took me forever to find. Yeah. That's. So I should have said this before. I should. No, the answer is no. But that's actually not, you never know. Maybe it's okay. But yeah, Denver Gator. And so anyway, I'm talking to these guys, real good guys. So that it took them a while to find my channel. So I'm going to rebrand. I thought about maybe the Hookers and Below Football Show. You know what, man? It is kind of catchy. It is kind of catchy. You know what? That might be why. But babies love me. Every now and then, a parent will just kind of freak out and like, what's my baby waving at you? But yeah. I go to a grocery store. Babies love me. Dogs love me. Cats also love me, and I'm allergic. So, you know what? It is catchy. Seriously, that may not be a bad idea. But hopefully, Keys, you're still on board for my Wednesday show. I haven't got back. Corey's been pretty reliable for the most part. Corey, aka the Red Sea. Hopefully, he will be on board, and we can have a little Chiefs versus Cardinals debate. The Blitz predicts one of the guests on my show does some gambling content. He likes the Cardinals to win outright week 1, and I kind of gave him a lesson. It's like, remember, Andy Reid's 8-1 season openers, but I don't think he actually bet on that. He bet on that. Okay, listen, before I go, I'm going to give you some games that I circled here. I'm just going to give you some quick ones. Week 1, I'm going to go over this in a lot more detail next Friday when I'm back at home. I'm going to take this home with me, and I'm going to keep track and see what's changed, because these are week 1 games I'm thinking about putting some action on. Baltimore Ravens at the New York Jets. I actually like the under in this one. I'm going to check out the weather report. The under is 44.5. I just see a low-scoring game here. By the way, if I do make this, I'm not going to take 44.5. I'm going to see if I can get some extra points between now and game day, unless there's some inclement weather. I'll probably say the same, but I kind of like that to be a low-scoring game. Cleveland at Carolina. Carolina's only a 2.5 point favorite. I'm a little surprised about that. I think Baker Mayfield gets a little amped up. Believe it or not, for everything you can say about Baker Mayfield, teammates really like this guy. I really think that Carolina rallies and plays well that game. I do like Carolina to cover 2.5. Houston is an 8-point dog at home against the Colts. I really like that one. I got that one highlighted. Jacksonville at Washington. I'm going to check the weather report. I like under 43.5. I think that you got Doug Peterson, new offense. It could kind of struggle early on. Chase Young's not going to play in this game the way I understand it, but Washington, I think, is going to make a big step up defensively this year. It's kind of a game I'm eyeballing, but I do think that's going to be a low scoring game. I have $40 free bet from this casino. I put it on New England and 3. And James, if you're still there, remember what I told you. So anyway, I got the old lady, and I said, yeah, I want New England in 3, and she goes, no, you can only do one bet. And I said, oh, I meant New England and 3 points. She's like, oh, that +3 thing. And she works at the sports book. This is why I tried to go to the older guy. It was funny because there was a line, and I was in line. There's this guy who was he had like 8 college football bets. He had like his whole thing. He says, so he had these kiosks. He has these kiosks that you can go through. He says he skips those. So luckily, he was off to the side, and I went in. I was like, dude, I cut in front of you. And he's like, no, you're good. So we ended up just talking. He went over all his picks, and I didn't promote my channel to him because he was doing all college, but I don't know if he's going to do that well. He had some questionable picks, but I wasn't going to argue with him because I'm definitely not an expert. New England, I did get 3, but this paper says 2.5, so I just changed that. Or I did bet that. Like I said, I got $40 free bet. So I got New England to cover, which is 3. I probably should have just took the money line. I think New England's going to win outright, but I got 3 points on the road at Miami. For those of you who don't know, Belichick's really struggled in Miami. Really, really struggled. But I got New England in 3. Another game I like. I like this one quite a bit. Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. Pittsburgh's a 6.5-point dog. I really like Pittsburgh here. I like Pittsburgh to win outright, to be perfectly honest with you. Green Bay at Minnesota. Green Bay's only a 2-point favorite. I know it's in Minnesota, first-time head coach. I really like this game. I remember Green Bay lost big, 38-3 last year, start season. They won't do that again. Or was that 2 years ago? I think it was last year. They lost to the Saints week 1. But yeah, I like Green Bay to cover too. Kansas City at Arizona. I actually like the under in this game. Here it's 3.5. It's jumped up to 4. It started off at 2.5. I actually got a $40 free bet on Chiefs to cover 2.5. 4's a different story, but I actually think this could be a surprisingly low scoring game. 53.5. I actually like the under on this one. The Raiders and the Chargers, it's 52. I like the over. I think that game has potential shootout written all over it. Another late game, Giants at Tennessee. Under, I like the under. It's 43.5. I think this has like a 10-7 feel all over it. I'm gonna check the weather report, but I like the under. And then Sunday night football, Tampa Bay at Dallas. I like the over on this one. Remember last year, these two teams played. It was 31-29. It's 49.5. Both teams are expected to have good defenses. I think this game could be another shootout. I really like over 49.5. How about best Dan bets? BDB. I actually like that. I like that, but that would be like the side channel. The main channel, I would name something different. Get out of here with that +3. You like New England to win outright. You should have pulled out your phone and novice betting video for her. I probably should have. I probably should have. But yeah, she. And by the way, this is something that if you're new to sports betting, don't ever go up to the pretty young girl if you're, because she won't know what she's doing. And then the older lady, she didn't know what she was doing either. And that's just kind of 101. I think New England lots of people agree with you. I'm just the opposite. I think they're going to be a really good team. But I have to admit, I don't think I didn't like what I saw from them in preseason. But I didn't like what I saw from them in preseason. But I think New England's going to be really good. That's my number one shock pick is for them to win the NFC East. is to win the NFC East. Me and Key's agreeing on stuff. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Their coaching staff got worse, and I don't know how Jones will play with worse weapons. Well, I disagree with you completely about worse weapons. They got Devontae Parker, Tristan Thompson, so they got a lot of speed. They didn't really lose anything. Jacoby Myers really looked impressive. The tight end that they got, and drawing a blank, the kid from Arkansas, he's very, very solid. They actually have a couple of third-round draft picks from a couple of years ago that haven't played but have a lot of athleticism, could really surprise. So they actually added to their weapons, and they also added a lot of speed, which I really, really liked about New England, because last year they just had no speed. Jacoby Myers actually played pretty well. Now surround him with some guys that can stretch the field. So I 100% disagree with you about the worst weapons, but as far as their coaching staff, they did lose McDaniels, which is going to be a blow. So I got action at Green Bay -1 myself. Yeah, that Green Bay game, I really thought that line would be around 4. I'm really surprised. I got 2 here. But yeah, I really that's one I'm probably going to put some action on, because I know it's at Minnesota, but a first-time head coach. You got Green Bay coming to town, and honestly, you kind of knew what you were doing against Green Bay last year. You're going to try to double cover Adams. You have no idea what they're going to do this year. So, and one thing about Green Bay is I really think their defense is going to be a lot better. I think their defense is going to be a lot better. So I really like Green Bay here quite a bit. And like I said, if I'm right and they lost 38-3 last year against the Saints to open the season, I don't remember if that was last year or 2 years ago. But if that's true, then I think they're going to come out firing this year. Belichick is still the best coach in the NFL. And yes, I just threw up in my mouth saying that, and that man draws dark strength from his pettiness. You taking any action on the opener at all? There's several opening games I want to put action on. I love Green Bay. Green Bay in 2 is what I got. I really like. I like Pittsburgh +6.5, because I think Pittsburgh's going to win outright. I like Houston to cover 8 at home. Carolina at 2.5. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a video with all my yearly predictions, and then I'm going to put some action on week 1 as well. And I'll have 2 separate videos, but my week 1 action video, I'll probably have that ready to go Saturday, or my week 1 video will be Saturday when I come back, because I'm going to do all my year betting here, but I'm not going to do it on this trip. I'm going to leave. I'm going to come back. So I don't think their preseason matters. They put their players' situations look good, but what the players I'm sorry, I misread this. They put players in situations not to look good, but to learn what players can and can't do from player limitations. Yes, but I was kind of wondering if they were going to try to put Mac Jones in a position to be successful, and he didn't. That said, I think New England advances to AFC Championship game. So Patricia be on the offensive side as people scared. So Lions people calling for a Lions blowout. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I meant Rams Bills. Oh, Rams Bills on Thursday. No, I have no play on Rams Bills Thursday. I'm really looking forward to that game. We're going to go into detail on that on Wednesday's show. I'm going to get myself, Keys, Red Sea, Corey, aka the Red Sea, and Alex. We're all going to kind of chime in on that game. But I'll give you a little tidbit here. I'm really just seeing a good game. If I had to say anything about this game, to be honest, usually these games are pretty high scoring. The over under is 52. I could see a low scoring game on this one, to be perfectly honest. But no, I don't have any action on it. Buffalo's 2.5 point favorite, even though it's in LA. Kind of like Buffalo to win this game, but I'm not really sold on it. As far as gambling wise, I don't like this game at all. I wouldn't recommend it. These games have traditionally been high scoring games. Remember the Chiefs and Patriots played a couple of years ago to kick off the season. It was like 42-27. Last year it was 31-29. I have a feeling, because there is some, you're going to have Von Miller going against his old team. I think he's going to be really amped up for that one. You got 2 really good defenses. Weather obviously is not going to be an issue, but leaning towards under. No action whatsoever. But when I have my show Wednesday, tune in because I'm going to get the opinions of people outside the gambling community and see what they think. So I don't think it matters what side Patricia coaches on. One thing about Patricia is that as far as X's and O's, there's very few coaches that know as much as Matt Patricia as far as X's and O's, but he just does not know how to relate to people. But I think in a situation where he's with Bill Belichick, I think it's really going to work out well. Belichick was essentially Brady's early career coach, according to Dean Pease. And I've heard that. I heard something about, I heard this, and I can't remember where I heard this from, but early on, one thing Belichick always raved about Brady was that they could be watching game film together, and Brady and Belichick said Brady would draw back on something from like 3 years ago because he had just a phenomenal memory. This is a great point, Funk, and I'm going to end it on this one because this is a real good one. I don't think Patricia is a bad coach. I think he walked into the worst possible situation in Detroit. Caldwell was soft and reserved as any coach would have lost the room following him. And that's an excellent point. I think that Patricia is a guy that, and there's lots of coaches like this that are world-class coordinators. They're just not really good head coaches. Like Romeo Crennel, for example. Romeo Crennel, defensive coordinator in New England for a long time. Head coach in Cleveland didn't do well. Head coach in Kansas City could not have. There's a lot of circumstances. I'm not going to talk about that 2012 Chiefs team in a large amount of detail. But here's a guy who's terrible head coach. I think Romeo Crennel belongs in the Hall of Fame. World-class defensive coordinator, won a lot of Super Bowls. I think a really, really world-class guy, really big Romeo Crennel fan. Terrible head coach. Is Patricia on that level? No, he's not. But as far as X's and O's, like I've heard some stories about Patricia where he's as smart of a coach that there is. But you remember, just like I do, all the ex-Lions players they got rid of were more than happy to see him gone, and that's just that kind of the type of guy he is. So, hey, listen, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining in. I apologize for the quality in the hotel room. But I've never done this before. So I really, really thank you all. Give me a thumbs up. Like, share this video. Please share this. A lot of you guys are following me on social media. Share this on social media. Get this community to grow. Keep in mind, when I do my show Wednesday, I'm going to be on Wednesday and Friday. So when I come on Wednesday, there's going to be a possible name change. So, all right, that's awesome. And give me a thumbs up, share this video, share this channel, help me get to 800. That's my goal. 800 for the season. That's not bad. I'm like 788 right now. And it helps the YouTube algorithm if you drop a comment below. And Denver Gator, when I come back to Colorado, hopefully we can get together, but I understand, hookers and party favors. So anyway, I'm going to enjoy the last night of my vacation. I'll see you guys back on Wednesday.